Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Hildibrand adventures. Previously, the misadventures in the Far East came to an end. The criminal mastermind was apprehended, but alas, Hildibrand was dragged into one of Gilgamesh's interdimensional portals, so there is no telling where our hero will appear next. Of course, we can certainly make an educated guess. Hildibrand made appearances in Final Fantasy XIV's initial release, in A Realm Reborn, and the two expansions that followed. Surely we should journey to the Shadowbringers expansion next, right? Wrong. In a horrible, terrible tragedy, Shadowbringers was utterly devoid of Hildy goodness. Well, except from one brief little cameo Easter egg, but that hardly counts. So instead, we go now to Endwalker, where Hildibrand made a glorious return. So this would usually be the part where I launch into a primer on the setting and premise of the expansion. This time, things are different. Very different. For starters, the early chapters of this installment of the Hildibrand adventures take place in Shadowbringers areas before later moving on to Endwalker, seemingly to make up for Hildy's absence in that expansion. So this means I have to explain two whole expansions at once. What's more, it is here where I absolutely must launch into some serious spoilers. In order for the contents of the coming quest to make sense, I'm going to have to dive deep into the true nature of Final Fantasy XIV's cosmology, as well as the details and aftermath of world-changing events. We're talking about some of the biggest twists and climaxes of a story told over multiple expansions. So, I'm giving you the spoiler warning to end all spoiler warnings. If you care at all about this game and haven't played to the end of Endwalker yourself, please close the video now. Final warning. Go now. Mega spoilers. Right. Still here? Then listen close as I tell you a tale. When all the main characters of this game's main story were wrapping things up in Stormblood, they one by one heard a voice calling to them, then fell into a coma-like stasis. Turns out their souls were plucked out of their bodies and transported to another world. This other world is very special, for it is a sort of reflection of our own. Long, long ago, before any of the mortal races even existed, a cataclysmic force sundered a perfect world into 14 shards. These 14 worlds exist in parallel dimensions to each other, distanced not by, distance, but by reality itself. Everything we have seen thus far has taken place on the Source. The Source is where you can find the familiar places like Ul'dah, Ishgard, and Kugane. So it is to a world known as the First Reflection that our heroes were summoned to. There they found a world in despair. An apocalypse of overwhelming light had all but consumed the world, leaving only a pocket of land called Norvrant as the sole hospitable place on the planet. What's worse, the denizens of Norvrant were beset by an endless army of Sin Eaters, creatures horribly warped by light. The most powerful of these Sin Eaters were known as Light Wardens, and their very presence changed the sky, robbing the world of night and darkness forever. To make a very long story short, our heroes handily solved every problem and brought glorious darkness back to the First. When it came time to leave, however, the issue was to figure out how to return their spirits back to their comatose bodies back on the Source. To that end, they crammed their souls into specially crafted vessels and transported them across the interdimensional rift. All business in the Shadowbringers expansion concluded, our heroes progressed to Endwalker. They journeyed to multiple locales, one of which was the exotic Radzat-Han on the Isle of Thavnair, home of the art of alchemy and some really cool elephant men. It was about this time that the world began to end. Oh. Remember how there was once an ancient singular world that got sundered into 14 shards? As it turns out, this shattering was done purposefully, by the denizens of that ancient world in the name of evading a far greater doom that had set its eyes on their world. So, alas, the final days of yore had returned, countless centuries later, to finish its annihilation of all life, and it was this threat that our heroes faced on Thavnair and beyond. Remember the Garlean Empire, who had once occupied Hingashi and othered? They suffered heavily during the final days, their homeland razed to ashes. Things were grim, and concepts like borders and nations had to be set aside for the greater good. It is now that our tale concludes. We go now to Aradzahan in mourning. Though the final days were thwarted, people everywhere suffered great loss. The people need a hero. One could even say they need a gentleman. So let's go looking for Hildibrand, huh? But first, I'm due for a wardrobe change. I'll leave samurai behind and become a ninja. Yes, I'm a ninja again, just like in the very first chapters of Hildibrand we did. This time, I'm wearing my usual clothes. This may sound conceited, but if my character here were lined up shoulder to shoulder with other Final Fantasy protagonists, this would be her official, canonical appearance, so, yeah. Well, that's it. Finally. Let's get going already, to Thavnair. Aha! Aradzahan, we're here. Very colorful place, this. And I will say, this town has the best music in the whole game. Enjoy the grooves. Anywho, I see a very familiar face. Hello. The sleeping gentleman. The pungent Lalafell can scarcely conceal his excitement. Oh, great. The stalker has a BO problem. Wonderful. Wait, I know you. We met in Kugane. You're that stone-cold killer I asked to look after the love of my life. Well, when you put it like that. What's that look for? Surely you haven't forgotten me. You and me, we had a moment. A connection. Not like the one I've got with her, of course, but I know I left an impression. The creepy little bastard who smells like cheese and followed Nashu to Kugane after stalking her for over 5 years? Hey, there's nothing creepy about my love. It's as pure as the pristine waters of a forest stream. Sniff, sniff. Fair point about the cheese stink, though. But enough about me, this is about Miss Nashu. Ever since she got sucked into that weird portal back east, I've been scouring the world for any sign of her. I was this close to giving up, but then, huzzah, I found her here in Aradzahan. Normally I'd be happy to get back to playing the silent invisible guardian, but she seems pretty distressed by the plight of her inspector friend. He's here too, but laid up and showing no signs of waking anytime soon. My Nashu has been fashioning all sorts of medicines in hopes of rousing him, but to no avail. I mean, I couldn't care less if he kicked the bucket, but I hate seeing her like this. She's liable to work herself to death. So, what say you? Will you deliver my dearest Nashu from her plight? You'll find her over at the High Crucible, no doubt slaving over in Alembic. And with that, I'll get back to cheering her on from the shadows. You too, I guess. Now go, quickly, save my beloved. I mean, I'll do it, but not because he asked. Let's head there. The High Crucible, Heart of Alchemy. Just look at all those lovely potions. Huh. Well, well. Can't stay too far away, can ya? And that should do it. Now to take this medicine and... Car! Zephyria! It feels like it's been forever! Though definitely less than a year, I'm sure. Right. More meta jokes. What brings you to Aradzahan? Enjoying a spot of adventuring, or perhaps...
Then you've heard! It's true, Inspector Hildibrand's gone into hibernation again and... Oh, wait, you're giving me that look. The one that screams, what about the whole weird portal business? Alright, since you silently asked. So, back on the Ruby Sea, remember how Greg got doused with dew prism and was forced to whisk us all far away? How that strange rift then opened up, which the inspector then got sucked up into, and how I followed him in after that? Well, after that, we all ended up in this bizarre place. Couldn't tell up from down, left from right, and so we wandered, lost and confused. Fortunately, Greg came to his senses and explained that we were in the interspectorial rift, and then used the same trick to bring us home. Greg himself stayed behind, though. Something about a score that he had to settle. Not sure what that was about, but hey, you know Greg. Anyway, we're back now, but the rub is that Inspector Hildibrand hasn't opened his eyes once. I know he needs his beauty sleep, but it's been an awfully long time, and we've got cases to solve. I've been trying my hand at apothecary stuff, seeing if I can't make something that'll get him up and moving, but nothing seems to work. But I think we're making progress. Me and Mr. Chupacabra from the Shakshoka concern, that is. You remember Mr. Chupacabra, right? Got sucked into the rift along with us? Former evil mastermind? Not so bad once you get to know him.
Well, it's you. Chubraka, that's your name. Pleased I am to meet you once more, and under less compromising circumstances. If I may correct our mutual friend, I am Jubrakra, chairman of the Sajatra concern. I don't like you. Your distrustful and somewhat bloodthirsty glare is not unwarranted, but in my defense, who among us has not contemplated enslaving the rich and powerful to bend the world to their whim? I pray you forgive me my poor joke, and allow me to assure you that after wandering the interdimensional rift for the sisters only know how long, I am a changed man. Naturally, I understand that words alone would not suffice to absolve me of my sins. Thus, since my return, I have operated a humble apothecary that caters to the needs of one and all. Furthermore, I made arrangements for Miss Nashu's workshop. Rest assured that I will spare no effort in helping her see Inspector Hildibrand awakened and return to full health. Now, it looks like he's been scared straight. How about that? And with that, if you would excuse me, I must see to other business. Or has he? Dun dun dun!
Isn't he the nicest ex-villain you've ever met? Oh, but that's right. I had just finished my latest medicine. I've got high hopes for this new recipe.
I suppose I ought to get a look at the Manderville man himself.
By all means. The inspector is resting in a room up in Kama. Awake or asleep, I'm sure he'd enjoy your company. Let's go.
Huh. Well, I guess he's getting a bit creative. I gotta see this. Hello, you little shit. I bet he doesn't even smell like Gouda, the most dignified of cheese. The gall. Hey, do you have anything to say? The girl's a friend of yours, is she? She's welcome to stay as long as she likes. I do hope her friend recovers soon, though. Sleeping on the floor hasn't been good for my back. Aww. Well, there's the inspector.
Isn't this room nice? Mr. Chupacabra's taken care of everything. Even paid the rent in full. Oh, but I'm distracting you, aren't I? You need to concentrate while you examine the inspector, yes?
Study the sleeping Inspector Hildibrand. You may move the camera, as well as zoom in and out, target a section and examine it in more detail with left click. If you say so. Well, he's breathing. Rugged features belie what is, at closer glance, the sensitive mien of a cultured gentleman. While he still breathes, he appears to be locked in a deep slumber. Rippling muscles bespeak impressive strength, while smooth skin suggests that only on the rarest of occasions does a man resort to violence. Troublingly, his limbs are stiff and cool to the touch, as if the blood runs cold in his veins. The exquisite buckles of the stylish footwear are a design unique to House Manderville. These shoes would almost certainly fetch a small fortune in the markets. So it's at this point that pretty much every player who's got to this point would realize, oh, yeah, it's just like the Scions. The Inspector's condition is disturbingly reminiscent of the Scions who were summoned to the First for a time.
Huh? Oh, finished already? Any theories as to what's wrong with the Inspector?
Well, he's a soulless husk, which is less than ideal.
I see. I mean, I don't, but that's what you're supposed to say at times like this. I know that much. How do we wake him up? Return his soul to his body? But where did it go? And what is it doing there?
Probably went to the First to become a gentleman of darkness, as you do. Right, so our character is the warrior of light, but given that light is the big bad force on the First, we instead became the warrior of darkness. And so too must the gentleman of light become the gentleman of darkness in turn. Of course.
I see. Right. So can you go there? Great. In that case, I'll leave the soul searching to you. I'm sure it goes without saying, but once you've arrived in this otherworldly world, look for a place that smells of mystery and intrigue, and chat with people there. That's standard agent of inquiry protocol. Oh, and since this is Inspector Hildibrand we're talking about, don't be surprised if you find him asleep or having forgotten a thing or two. But not to worry, I've prepared my traditional medicine just in case. Don't hesitate to use it. And with that, do take care out there.
Fair enough.
When in doubt, use Nashu's Delights to blow the cobwebs right out. The Inspector will thank you after, I'm sure.
Let's have a look. They're bombs. A potent explosive whipped up by Nashu with the power to jog one's memories. Sure. Alright. Well, for me, traveling to the First is a matter of video game abstraction. I can just teleport right there, but in-universe, my character has to make one hell of a trip. Anywho, let's go. We'll be here and there. Ah, the Crystarium. Lovely place, though we appear to be here on a foggy day. Once this was a bastion of defense from the Sin Eaters, but now it's pretty peaceful. Good atmosphere. Now I know a place, a tavern where you can get some drinks. Surely the word has gotten out of some gentleman, right? You, Glenard. Welcome back, friend. I'd offer you a pint, but my barman's sense tells me that's not why you're here. So this friend of yours has gone missing. Sorry to hear that, but plenty of travelers pass through these parts. Could you describe the fellow to me? He's a Hume, burly, wears a monocle, well-meaning idiot. Right, maybe I should mention, not only are the naming conventions of most people different on this world, but the names of the races are different too. Back on the source, Hildibrand would be known as a higher. Here, he's a Hume. Either way, it's a human. I'm playing as a Rugadin. I forget what Rugadin are called on the first, actually. That's his race, by the way. We're both Rugadin. Yes, that sounds familiar. Mind you, I didn't see him myself, but I do believe one of our bounty hunters spied such a man when you were all battling that horde of spectral warriors. Right, yeah, so that's a reference to the Easter egg that Hildibrand appeared in. Yeah, there was a scene in the story where you were fighting a bunch of ghost warriors. Hildibrand was among them in the background. Don't worry about it. Giat, come here a moment. There's someone who wants to speak with you.
That's so? Make it quick. This shale isn't gonna drink itself. If it ain't Zephyria, what brings you back to our neck of the woods? As I recall, in the Shadowbringers expansion, there was a quest line for every group role. Tank, healer, physical DPS, range DPS, magic DPS. I want to say Giat was one of the companions you quested with during one of those quest lines. So it's nice to see her again. Now that you mention it, I did see someone like that back there on the battlefield after you ran off to do more hero work. At first, I thought he was going to attack me like the rest of the spirit whatsits, but no, you just stood there, striking a pose, trying to scare or seduce me. Damned if I could tell. Still, he was glowing, and I wasn't about to take any chances, so I said, "Hey, piss off, ghost," and sent him packing. What? Really? Did he die, you ask? To which I say, what am I, a Kyrujan? Also, I've kept my mug waiting long enough. Good talk. Well, cheers to that, Giat. Could it be? The Warrior of Darkness? Who? Thaler. I thought that was your voice, but was convinced my ears were playing tricks on me. It's good to see you again. I have no idea who this is. I'm going to assume you're one of the Roll Quest NPCs, I think. Just like Giat. Vonard. Didn't mean to eavesdrop, but we overheard you discussing the renegade poser. We've been searching for him for some time now. There have been sightings in Lakeland, you see. Vonard and I have been tasked with getting to the bottom of it. We've little in the ways of useful information, though. All we know is that he appears without warning and strikes a disturbing pose. He's not caused any harm, if you discount the shock of a strange man gesticulating in your general direction, that is. Nevertheless, we worried that his behavior might escalate. Have you been tasked with apprehending the miscreant as well? Not quite, Vonard. Zephyria's come back to track down a missing friend. Your miscreant, I regret to say, might be my friend. If the man you're looking for might be one and the same, then why not work together? Between the three of you, you're bound to have better luck. It would be an honor and a great help. We were just about to leave to gather testimony as it happens. Come and join us in Sullen when you're finished here. We'll solve this mystery in no time. Well, I suppose we should go then. Thank you, Glinard. You always kept interesting company, that's for sure. I don't know if it would be better or worse if this poser is your friend, but wish you the best of luck. Fair enough. Let's head there. Be out in Lakeland, yes.
Well, here's Sullen, a pretty miserable place, honestly, but they make do here on the first, I guess. Also, meet my Chocobo companion. All Final Fantasy XIV players get their own Chocobo. I have given it a purple dye for its feathers and 3 pieces of armor. Yeah. My Chocobo's name is Tempest, by the way. Anywho. Did I see him? You bet I did. I was crossing through the forest of the Lost Shepherd on my way to deliver fish to the Ostal Imperative. Out of nowhere, this odd man leapt in front of me. I thought he was a bandit at first, but then he abruptly turned to the side, curled his neck, and put his fist to his head as if to say, I don't know. It was baffling. I ran when I realized he wasn't going to do anything else. Seems the inspector is giving people quite the fright. Oh, that fellow. I saw him the other day on the way home from Clearmelt. I'd enjoyed one too many libations after my bath and ended up wandering off into the forest. Before I knew it, the sun was dipping low and the sky turning dark, and I was beginning to wonder if I'd ever make it home. Then I felt a gentle tug at my arm. And would you believe it? This odd-looking man led me out of the forest and sent me back on the road. I thanked him profusely, but he said nothing in reply, just struck his pose and walked off. Hello there.
Why, yes, I saw someone like that when I was out picking mushrooms in the forest. He even spoke to me. I was repulsed at first by his form, but he only wanted to warn me that fell beasts lurk in the forest and that I should be wary. Contrary to appearances, I'd say he was actually quite gentlemanly.
Ye gods, the infection is spreading. Not on this world. We must act with great haste. To be honest, I'm not sure what to make of all this. Finished questioning the locals, have you? Were you able to learn anything? Not only has the poser caused no harm, he's even helped people? So he's a gentleman, albeit a suspicious one. Something of a contradiction, you might say, but there's no reason to doubt what we heard. Everyone seemed to encounter him in the Forest of the Lost Shepherd, right? Then that's where we'll look next, shall we? You have to walk. I, however, can fly. On the other hand, some folks might argue a suspicious gentleman is more dangerous than a man more blatant in his villainy. This gentle manliness could well be a ruse to mask all kinds of evil intentions. We'll see about that. Well, here we are. But how exactly are we supposed to begin our search? These woods are, well, woods. Leave it to me, I have an idea. Got a plan, do you? Far be it for me to doubt the warrior of darkness. Show us what you've got in mind, and we'll back you up to the best of our ability. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Here we go. Hark! What familiar gentlemanly gyrations are these? Light Warden, the Forgiven Gentleman. The worst of Sin Eaters. I don't stand a chance. I'll have you know that was the beginning of dungeon boss music, by the way. On your guard, it's a Sin Eater. No, wait, that's no Sin Eater. It's the Gentleman of Light. Gentleman of Light? Who is this Gentleman of Light of whom you speak? I am the Forgiven Gentleman, Devourer of Sins, Light Warden Extraordinaire. You're not a Sin Eater, you're Hildibrand, the Gentleman Inspector. Inspector, Sin Eater, Inspector, Sin Eater. You're acquainted with this, gentleman? Right then, clearly your friend has been through a lot. But still, how did he get it in his head that he's a Sin Eater? Is there no way to bring back his memories? The Nashu Special. Explosives? We're still trying to save him, right? Yeah! Wicked White, we've killed him! No, it's fine. He's good. So, I may have said this before in the playthrough, but the Hildibrand questline is how Square Enix experiments and hones their skills in cutscene making. They go wild and ham with these cutscenes, and then use the skills they've learned to make better cutscene than the main story and elsewhere. And so, I'll say this. This cutscene you just witnessed, this, I believe, is the very first instance of the game where your character, the Warrior of Light, does something really cool. And this got players everywhere really, really hyped. I say, Zephyria, I had resigned myself to Nashu's ungentle methodology, but you too, my brutish friend. But never mind that. I do not recall the world being quite so purple. Previously, I was with Nashu and Greg, wandering the bizarre, shadowy realm known as the Inspectorial Rift. The Echo! It returns. I get to look at a flashback. Don't worry about the meteors. It's fine. So this is Hildibrand appearing on the first. Huh? Where am I? Who am I? That sickening light, that aggravating, aggressive posturing. I know what you are. You're one of them, ain't you? What you need is a good old-fashioned dwarven decking. Piss off, ghost! Oh, hey, it's an actual sin eater. Huh. Yeah, I'd run away too. I don't blame it. Run for your lives! It's a sin eater! A sin eater. That must be how he got the idea. I'll be damned. I saw a vision of the man's past. No wonder he became convinced he was a sin eater. I saw it too. It was quite possibly the most ridiculous memory I've ever glimpsed. Answer me, my faithful assistant. Where are we? And why is it so purple? You're on another world. The first? The first what? Are you telling me we've somehow traveled to an entirely different world? Good gods! To think that I have transcended the very boundaries of time and space! But worry not, my adoring fans. Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, will return to you forthwith. Well, how about that? Quest complete. Huh. I can't help but feel that this is not what the Echo was intended for. Explosions, dwarven deckings, is there nothing this man can't withstand? A soulful reunion. Hildibrand is back and full of spectral beings. While I've enjoyed what time I've spent in this far-flung first that I can remember, we should be getting back to our own world soon. Would you happen to know how we might go about doing that? Restore my soul with a spirit vessel. Say no more. Your cursory description was more than enough for me to grasp the concept completely. It is not unlike brewing the perfect cup of coffee, which means our task is clear. We require the services of a skilled soul sommelier. Sommelier? We require the services of Beck Lug. Splendid! I see that even in this world you rub shoulders with the cream. Let us pay this Beck Lug a visit. I'm not sure what you're plotting to do with souls, but if you require Beck Lug's assistance, we can help. Aye, they've aided us time and again, and I reckon they'd do the same for your friend here. Come with us to the Cabinet of Curiosity. Let's do just that. Back to the Crystarium. Over in the distance. So, Beck Lug is an important character who shows up in Shadowbrinder's main story. They're a very powerful sorcerer, very skilled in all things magical, and they were instrumental in developing the Soul Vessel technology. Well, I say technology, but it's kind of like a mixture of tech and magic. Wait, where are they? Oh, there you are. I may have jumped the gun a bit. Whoops. Alright. Alright. Though I am eager to return home, I will miss this strange world. Perhaps we can visit again someday. Surely there are cases here that require my preeminent powers of deduction. Seeing as he's a friend of the Warrior of Darkness herself, I should have known. But this Hildibrand is no ordinary man. If you're ready, I'll call for Beck Lug. Ah, the genius Soul Sommelier! You came highly recommended by Zephyria, and what an adorable little puppy you have! Soul what? Puppy? I beg your pardon, but there seems to be some confusion. Puppy? Who is this imbecile, Zephyria? I've half a mind to make him dig a hole so I can throw him in it. But I presume he is a friend of yours, and one in need, no less? What? Another of your friends that needs to be sent back to the source? Have you forgotten how complex and difficult it was to do the last time? Yet you waltz in here and ask me this favor with the air of one shopping for a new hat. His case is no different from the others, at least. He is present only in soul, as they were. We'll need another spirit vessel, of course. You don't happen to have one on you already, do you? Do I? Entrusted to you by the Crystal Exarch, you say? Huh, if only he knew how you were using it.
Fortunately, I have a porksy on hand. We've been using it to treat patients at risk of transforming into eaters, but I suppose it's due for a change of pace. There is, however, one concern. In case I didn't make it clear before, the process can place great strain upon one's soul. If he is lacking in resilience, there is a chance his will not survive, that his very essence will be rent asunder.
That's a risk I'm willing to take. Ha ha! Zephyria knows me all too well. I assure you, my good sommelier, who was most certainly not a dog, you needn't worry for Hildibrand Helidor Maximilian Manderville.
Yes, I get the distinct impression that the gods themselves could not kill him if they tried, and they have. Come along then, Hildy, I can't be bothered to remember that name.
1,000 thanks! Simply point me to the soul siphon, and I shall hop right in.
The rest of you can wait here. I promise I won't hurt him, no matter how much I might be tempted.
I love Becklug. What a card.
You would be pleased to know that the process was smooth and uneventful. Honestly, I was hoping for more of a challenge. All you need to do is take his spirit vessel back to the source and bring it in contact with his corporeal body. He should awaken immediately with his soul and memories intact.
Well, thank you. If there's nothing else, Vonard and I should be getting back to our duties. It was a pleasure, Zephyria, if all too brief. I won't pretend I understood even a fraction of what happened, but I'm glad I was there for it. Till we meet again, rest assured that Thaler and I will be doing our damnedest to look after the people here in your absence. And with that, all events pertaining to Shadowbringers has ended. Back to Endwalker. Back to Razathan. Huh. It's raining. Oh well. Can't have a sunny day every day. Nashu, I'm back. Where's the inspector? You're back, and not a moment too soon. We have an emergency on our hands. A brightly glowing spirit vessel that currently houses the resolute spirit of Inspector Hildibrand. The inspector's soul is in this, you say? That's great, but we have another problem now. The inspector's body has gone missing. We went to the markets to do some shopping, and when we came back, he was nowhere to be seen. Oh. I double-checked that every door was locked before we left, but there's nothing to suggest someone forced their way in. We've got a case in our hands. The case of the evaporating inspector. Right. We must begin our investigation at once. Come on, let's start looking for witnesses. You heard her. Is anything else stolen? Oh, this is so distressing. Maybe someone just outside saw something. Hello there. Did I see anyone get carried out of that house, you ask? I was too distracted with stock taking to make note of any comings or goings. Sorry I couldn't be of more help. Tell me everything you know. The inspector's life is in jeopardy. Yes, this is a most distressing situation indeed. Dubious individual? I didn't see anyone carry a person out of the house, no. But I did see a man carrying a particularly large sack, so heavy he strained to lift it.
I didn't think much of it at the time, but now that you mention it, it was a bit suspicious.
Well, interesting.
Oh, there you are. This man says he has vital information that will help us in our investigation.
Delian. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Delian, Editor-in-Chief of the Thavnarian Truth, a monthly publication devoted to exploring unexplained and otherworldly phenomena of our isle. Your companion shared with me the news of your friend's disappearance, and I happen to know precisely who was behind the incident. But I fear you may not like the answer, for the kidnapper is not of this star.
What?
They come from the heavens, from beyond the great expanse. They descend in curious saucer-shaped airships to study our world, our society, our buildings, our very bodies. You shudder, no doubt, as you realize of whom I speak. It couldn't be, you protest. Oh, but it could. And it is. Your dear friend, the inspector, has been abducted by aliens. On one hand, I want to object to this outright just for the sheer absurdity of it, but we are talking about Inspector Hildibrand here, so who friggin' knows? Oh, but he'll be fine, you assure yourself. After all, they just want to understand us better. You poor deluded child. That they do, but to what end? Why else? That they might one day take over our world. What is worse, they plot to do so with the aid of collaborators. For the Charlayans are in league with our would-be overlords, providing the aliens with vital information on our vulnerabilities in exchange for a position of power within their regime. Remember back during the Heavensward part with Vivi and the goblins of Idleshire? Yeah, the goblins of Idleshire were holding out in an abandoned Charlayan hamlet, so that's what the Charlayans are. Very wise, scholarly sorts, but they're very far away from us right now. The final days was also the work of these alien invaders, an attempt to sow chaos, that our world would be easier to conquer. Blessedly, it was thwarted, if only by dumb luck, as those that did the thwarting were blissfully unaware of the true nature of the threat. Speaking of blissfully unaware, I just noticed the stalker. God damn it. God damn it. Come on, dude. I had hoped the setback would discourage the aliens from coming back, if not move them to abandon their ambitions. But it would seem events have only emboldened them, if they are indeed carrying out abductions here in Rattatan. Even as we speak, your friend lays prone on a sterile bed in their base on the surface of the moon, where they poke and probe him with inscrutable instruments as their floppy ears wiggle with fiendish delight. Ah, but I have said too much. I must continue my investigation in secret. The fate of our world is at stake. What an absolute nut job. I hope we never see him again.
Oh no, that sounded awful. We have to go to the moon and save the inspector at once.
I think he was a few materia short of a full meld.
Huh? So you don't think the inspector was somewhere getting probed by aliens? But if not them, then who's probing him? A man carrying a suspiciously large sack? That sounds promising. Maybe someone else can tell us more.
Oh, brother.
Someone up ahead may have seen something. Let's ask around.
Nashu is now accompanying you. Keep her at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. Nice. So, yeah, new technology brought about by Endwalker. NPCs can follow you around. How swell is that?
If anyone can lead us to Inspector Hildibrand, it'll be that man with the large sack. I know it.
Phrasing! For the love of God, phrasing, Nashu!
Hariga and his family are the nicest people. They've got such gentle eyes and long snouts, too. Longer than anyone I've ever met in Eorzea.
I guess that's true. I don't know, the Keycurrent have pretty long snoots.
The man with the sack? Indeed, I couldn't help but take note of him as he passed, trying so very hard to be inconspicuous as he was. He descended to Alzadal's path, then went over to the fountain, where he met with a merchant, I believe. Such a hefty sack it was. My mind was racing with the possibilities of what it might contain. That had to be our man, right? We need to hunt down that merchant.
Well, thank you. That was very helpful.
It's incredible, isn't it? It reminds me of the giant statue of Lord Godbird at the Gold Saucer. Once the inspector's back on his feet, we'll have to show him.
Yeah, maybe. Well, hey, there's a traveling merchant. Maybe that's our man. A man with a large sack? Ha, you bet I saw him. In fact, I sold him my chocobo. At first I told him to get lost. That bird and I go way back and so forth. But he was in a hurry and his offer was very generous. When you're in my line of work, you can't afford to get too sentimental. And now it can buy a whole stable's worth of chocobos.
Did he say where he was planning to go next?
He was muttering something about having to go to Saltwind's Welcome in a hurry. Probably why he was so desperate for a chocobo. It's a long way to go on foot, never mind the sack.
Did he hear that, Zephyria? We need to head to Saltwind's Welcome right away.
That should be by the sea, if I recall. If you want to catch your man, you should look for him at Saltwind's Welcome. I can't imagine that he's moved on that quickly, unless he rode my bird to death. He did seem to be in a rush, but surely he would not have done such a terrible thing. You never know. Let's head there. I would never ride you to death, right, Tempest? Right. Hold on. What are you doing here? Oh, brother.
Here we are, which means the mysterious man with the mysterious sack must be near. Keep your eyes peeled. Over there! That man is definitely up to no good. Maybe he's waiting for a co-conspirator? We should stay out of sight and watch what happens.
Well, 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 look who it is. I knew it. Chupacabra.
Oh, Mr. Chupacabra? But he expressly told us he had put his evil schemes behind him. He wouldn't lie, would he?
The goods appear to be none the worse for wear. Very well. Your payment as promised. My client will be most pleased. This conspiracy runs deep.
Oh yeah, this guy. Oh no, is he going to feed the inspector to that giant sea monster?
That's clearly a robot. It is an honor and a pleasure as always, Dr. Luge. I have faith this specimen will meet with your satisfaction. Alright, so, Luge is kind of a recurring side villain in the Garlean Empire. He's essentially just a mad scientist of an evil empire. That's really all you need to know about him. And we've beaten him so bad and bloody that he's moved his body into a robot. He's a robot now. That's how badly we beat him. Anyway.
So this is the one said to be the strongest, most resilient in all the world. The Manderville Man.
None other. He has weathered countless explosions and a multitude of martial abuses, including a devastating suplex I myself did witness. It is even said he survived a journey to Dalamud itself, and survived the Lesser Moon's fall with nary a scratch. Most fortunately for us, he has fallen into a coma, from which I am sure he will never wake. You are free to do with his body as you please.
Even the mightiest of warriors can't fight while asleep. Those meddlers may have gotten the better of me and my beautiful boy in the Tower of Babel, but my next child will be all but invincible. With this body, mine to command, I will exact a bloody glorious revenge.
Forgive me my boldness, Dr. Luque, but when might I expect the rest of my payment? I have debts that must be repaid.
Worry not. With the Telophoroi gone for good, the vast fortune of House Brutus is entirely at my disposal. I shall shower you with my wealth, my loyal minion.
And gladly shall I accept the spoils, Doctor, and resolve never to renounce my wicked ways, for surely this time I will suffer no comeuppance. Hello, my name is Comeuppance.
No, not you. Not now. I must away.
Wait, Dr. Luge, my payment!
Wake up, Inspector!
The soul vessel. He's back. Oh, he's gone. Could it be? The world's no longer purple.
Stop moving, damn you! You're supposed to be the comatose centerpiece of my glorious revenge.
Mummy! I can't believe I forgot this scene. How could I ever forget such glory? Oh my god. Yeah! I believe in you. Oh. Not again! No! I wish I could be kissed by a missile. That sounds like a good time. Oh, it's the law. Now, those armored gentlemen are law officers of the local area. Neat. I say, that was a rather dramatic series of events to awaken to. But more importantly, after a brief detour, I find myself in my own world once more. My most sincere apologies for causing you such trouble, my loyal assistants. But rejoice, for Hildibrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has made his triumphant return. Huh? Holy shit, it's aliens! Did I just see the stalker get sucked up? I think I did. All right.
Wait, Inspector! I knew it, an alien abduction. And to think I would have the chance to witness one with my own eyes.
Not this guy again.
This month's issue of the Thavnarian Truth shall be the best one yet. And just when I thought we finally had the inspector back, off he went. Then came back, and then floated off again.
Well, now what? Seriously, now what?
I know it's not the first time that he's taken to the skies without warning, but still, it's always a little disappointing. Still, there's no use crying over flying inspectors. Let's return to Rods at Han.
After you, miss.
He's among the stars now. Oh, Inspector, why have you left me again? And where have you gone? No, this won't do. Get it together, Nashu. There's a case to be solved. Just you wait, Inspector. Your loyal assistant Nashu will solve the mystery of your disappearance again. And don't you worry, Zephyria. As soon as I have a new lead, you'll be the first to know. Till next time.
How are you gonna get a lead? He's been whisked away off this planet. What do we do? Meanwhile, in Mare Lamentorum... Oh, this will not end well. With astute mind and explosive panache, he'll find the crime, crack the case in a flash. Dashing debonair, pure gentleman's flair, our agent of inquiry, Hildibrand Manderville. Truth and justice never go out of style. See you, Inspector. Everything about that was truly glorious. Look, the cutscenes in Stormblood were exquisite in their own right, but this... my god. Literally in its own league. God, I can't wait to catch up with this. I can't wait to see what's brand new. My god. Well, we got a deep mystery, don't we? Aliens on the moon kidnapped the Inspector. What a trip. I'm glad that stupid butt-face Chupacabra got his. Probably rotting in jail as we speak, so that's good. Anywho, I'm running a bit late here, actually, so I'll cut it short. I'm Zephyria Jeste. This has been more of the Hildibrand Adventures. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.